I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with 4 Lincoln locations, but now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street.
Ready to upgrade your combine in 2024? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help find the right combine to fit your operations needs. Choose from 4.5% for up to 60 months or a 12-month interest waiver, followed by John Deere financial rates with approved credit through the end of February. When you purchased a pre-owned S or X Series combine from Landmark, know you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running. View our current inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
A wise nation honors and learns from its past. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. February is Black History Month, a celebration of the contributions that African Americans have made to American history in their struggles for freedom and equality. Knowledge is our strongest tool against injustice. Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Edition of Outside the Box here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Joel Norman, and changing things up a little bit this week is we're chatting Lincoln Stars hockey. Typically, we have head coach Rocky Russo on for the first segment, but of course, it's a busy week coming up. So, of course, everyone's got to get everything in order before the Stars hit the road to Michigan to take on Team USA. So, defenseman Jimmy Jursev and Adam Kleber joining us to start things off. Guys, happy to have you here with us here. An exciting week, as we mentioned, coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exciting to go play a new team out in Michigan. Just playing all Western Conference teams last year. I think it's just exciting to play some new teams and looking for a nice road trip coming up.
Adam, I had to chirp you earlier. You know, you're wearing a USA Hockey. I know, Chipotle All-American, but we are playing Team USA this week.
I mean, it's just the sweatshirt I wore today. Don't give me too much crap for that.
Not too much. Jimmy, I know you won't be in action this weekend, but I'm sure you're really excited for this trip as well.
Yeah, it'll be cool to play someone different. Go to a different arena. I've never been there, even through the years in youth hockey, so it'll be cool.
It should be a lot of fun. And you guys, you know, we flushed Sunday's game in a lot of ways. This has been a team who's been playing some really good hockey. But let's go back to this past weekend, just kind of recapping everything that went down. Things got started in a good way for the Stars. Friday night, winning at home, a 4-2 triumph against the Sioux City Musketeers. You know, you guys trailed in that one heading into the third period. First time this season, you guys rallied back and overcame a third period deficit. Adam, what did it take, and what was going on maybe in the locker room heading into the final period of regulation to help score three goals and overcome that deficit?
I think we just knew that, you know, when we get to playoffs, you know, you're gonna have to win from behind and stuff like that. So we just were trying to like be in a playoff mindset and trying to, you know, get the points when we can. We know we don't want to let the points in February slip, so we really were just trying to get them and not let them slip.
Jimmy, you kind of have those eyes in the sky. A lot of times you're watching these games right now. What did you see change on the team? Rocky Russo was saying first couple periods a little bit flat. Things kind of turned around in the second. But boy, the Stars really brought in the third.
I think in the second, a lot more physicality. We just came out with a different intensity, and even after we tied it up and they scored right after, there was a big sense in the crowd. Like we could just feel it sit in the stands that we were going to win that game. It was just you could just tell by the way the boys were playing.
I was going to ask you that next. I was like, you've played with enough of these guys enough the last 2 years. You've seen enough of them. So you can tell from afar kind of when this team's got it under them. Like, hey, we got to come back going here.
Yeah, it was just you could just tell like the intensity completely changed going in the second, and then the third period came and we just dominated. So I was really confident when we got that power play late in the game. You just knew something was going to happen, so it was exciting.
Yeah, and it was a great start to the weekend. That extended the winning streak to 5 games. Unfortunately, that would come to an end the next day, falling in overtime against Sioux City, 3-2 this past Saturday. Great hockey game once again. It just unfortunately didn't go our way in that one. Adam, that was one where overtime had a lot of emotions with the hit on Blake Montgomery. He went down. He's injured and out. You guys get the power play, just couldn't cash in. And I mean, I guess that's the trouble with overtime. All of a sudden, the puck's on the tape of the stick of a guy with 30 goals on the season, and he ends the game right there. When you look back at that one, though, what do you see from Saturday night, positives and negatives?
Yeah, I thought we played well Saturday. We started out strong, and I mean, it's tough to not get a goal in overtime on a 4-on-3, but I mean, kind of got to tip your cap to Sheahan. He was getting a lot of looks that game, and it was only kind of fair that he buried that overtime goal. But I mean, I thought we played really well. I mean, I thought we played better Friday night or Saturday night than Friday. So it's kind of weird that we lost Saturday and won Friday.
It was strange. It just felt like you're right. As a cumulative whole, Saturday's game was much better, but Friday, sometimes a big third period can be enough. Sometimes, Jimmy, he brought it up. Caden Sheahan on that breakaway scoring. Earlier in the game, Lucas Massey had stopped him. To me, it almost felt like, well, that's kind of the law of averages. He got another chance. He certainly made the most of it.
Yeah, I mean, he had so many big chances late in the third, and Mass was unbelievable, but he's just, he's got 31 goals this season for a reason. So
50 in his career now, too. It happens. Lucas Massey's been phenomenal between the pipes. Adam, you've been able to play in front of him a lot. Jan Shostak has been so steady all season. It's been such a theme the last few weeks, guys. The goaltending position has really stabilized. What does that mean, pretty much knowing every single night you guys have a chance to win regardless of who's in front of you?
Just gives us a lot of confidence to go out there and play our game, maybe a little bit more offensive and take those risks, knowing that we have 2 rocks behind us.
Yeah, and it certainly helps out in that regard. Let's talk about some stuff here off the ice a little bit with you, Jimmy. You haven't been in action with the Stars since November. That was November 10th when you got hurt. That tough weekend against Green Bay. You were away from the team rehabbing a little bit. You're back and you're rehabbing here. Tell fans about your progress, because you're out of the boot, which you'd been in since November, and which people probably got used to seeing you in back in the spring. You're on the road to recovery. I know it's something you're probably answering a lot, but for the fans who don't know, tell us what's going on with you. What can we expect kind of on your timeline right now?
Yeah, so I've been out of the boot for a week now. So I've been working really hard every day with Corey in the training room and Beth too. So just kind of working my way back slowly. So I have another 3 weeks about in this rehab phase. And then the plan is to hopefully get cleared to skate in 3 weeks and then just go from there. So,
yeah. And by that point, you're probably looking at probably early April, potentially at the soonest, you're thinking?
Yeah, we'll see. It just kind of depends on how I feel and how quickly I can get back into shape. So I'm, been getting on the bike a lot right now. So just trying to make that transition to when I'm skating as smooth as possible.
I remember I had a couple friends when I was younger. They were in boots for a little bit. The other color of their shoe would change colors. Did you have that issue happen?
Yeah, last week I had to wash my shoes. Just the left one was so dirty.
By comparison, for sure. Adam, what's it been like? You've been with Jimmy the last couple of years here. He obviously, you haven't been able to play with him as much this season. What's it meant, having another familiar face and another, your billet brother back for a second straight year?
Yeah, I think living with him last year is good to meet him, and I think just not having him this year is kind of like a little bit of a hole missing. Just not having someone from last year. So it was really good to get him back, and it just feels a little bit more normal, living with him.
Yeah, now all of a sudden you're no longer the oldest though in your household. You were for a little bit, right? This season you had Aiden Jans and Jacob Brombach there, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
So you miss kind of being the oldest guy there now that Jimmy's back?
No, I don't mind it at all. I'd rather have Jimmy back.
Jimmy, tell me about ways you're maybe trying to help this team, even though you can't be on the ice. There's something, Rocky talks about, leading without a letter. Now, you obviously have the C, but you don't get to wear it every game now that you're in the sidelines here. But tell us how you're helping to be active, be part of this group, even if you can't be on the ice.
Well, just on a day-to-day basis, just being there in video every day, being there at the same time everybody shows up, just trying to do that whole routine. So then once the guys start getting dressed, that's when I head up to the training room. But then when it comes to game time, I'll, if I'm seeing something that maybe they can't really see from being on the ice, I'm sitting above so I can see what's going on out there. I'll talk to the guys, see what they're seeing. And then sometimes maybe I'll have a chat with the coaching staff too on how things are going, what they're seeing as well.
Who are a couple guys maybe you talk with? Adam or Rom or other guys you maybe live with, or other guys who ever ask you, hey, what do you see with me? Or
anybody really, like, just kind of depends. Like Friday, I was talking to the centers because I felt like from above, I was seeing a lot of open space higher in the zone, breaking out pucks. So I was talking to them a little bit, see what they were seeing, and then we went from there. So really, just whatever I'm seeing in the game.
We're chatting Lincoln Stars hockey here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's Outside the Box, coming your way every Tuesday night. A little bit earlier, we'll also be on at 6 again next week, just to let everyone know the timing here coming up. The Stars are on the road this weekend, taking on the U.S. National Team Development Program. Hard to prepare for these games in a little bit, guys, because you're facing two different teams. On paper, it's one team, but you're facing the U18s on Friday, the U17s on Saturday. We talked about this is a strange week in general. You played this past Sunday. You had Monday off. You guys mentioned you got your skating in today to make up for not being able to skate tomorrow. And then Thursday and Friday, you go into that full game prep. Adam, take me through this a little bit. What has this week been like so far? I guess we're only talking one day in at this point.
Yeah, so today we obviously had a fun practice, played some fun games, but then it's I always like going on trips and road trips with guys. Like we've only had 2 this year, and I know that the Green Bay one and the Muskegon one were really fun. So I'm just looking forward to it. And in terms of just playing the NTDP, I think they're just really skilled players, really skilled teams. So it should just be fun trying to like compete against them and see how we match up.
We've got a sleeper bus this time. Do you guys prefer that one, or do you prefer the normal coach bus we have? I'm curious about your take, because you guys are like me. It's kind of hard to fit in those beds when you're a little taller.
I prefer the sleeper, to be honest. I think it's kind of, for those longer trips, it's tough getting comfortable on the regular coach bus.
Yeah. What about you, Adam?
I feel like sardines when I'm in the sleeper. It's terrible. I hate it.
So you prefer the coach one, really?
I'd rather just sit up, yeah.
Would you really? Oh, that's funny. I get to a point where those, when my neck just starts getting into it, and it's like, and then you lay down. You guys might do what I do. I put my feet up on the head part. My feet fall asleep before my head falls asleep. So that makes it almost harder. But, it'll be good this week, of course, going up there. Adam, you got a chance to play up in Plymouth back in January, the Chipotle All-American game. Tell us about that experience and maybe what to expect with that arena. It's got to be an honor to play there and obviously get a lace up for a game like that.
Yeah, talking about the game, it was a cool opportunity just to, play with a bunch of those guys and a bunch of great players in the USHL. And yeah, it's a great rink and just really excited to play there.
This is one of those matchups where I think it's easy for fans to look back at and say, boy, it's fun to see the guys you've played against in these games. I was just looking back today. The last time the Stars played the National Team Development Program, Luke Hughes, who, of course, is now with the Devils, was on Team USA. That was back in mid-January of 2020. How much are you guys, going into this game, there's some names you're going to face. Cole Eiserman, James Higgins, guys like that. How much, because there's maybe a little more talk about them, are you able to scout guys like that, maybe compared to other teams? Because, not every single team has guys who are suiting up in the red, white, and blue and getting a little bit more attention.
Yeah, I think regardless of what the guys are, I think we always try to stick to what we're doing. We try not to focus too much on what the other teams got going on. Adam,
for you guys lately, what has it been that's led for you guys to be playing really good hockey? We look at how things turned around at Thanksgiving time, 16-8-1 since Turkey Day. I don't know what the heck you guys ate, but whatever it has, it's changed the fortunes of this team. Even lately, even with the loss this past Sunday, this is still a really good team, wins in 11 of your last 15. What is the identity of this group right now?
To be honest, I don't even know how we've been winning. It's honestly incredible too. It's from what we had, or from where we were. It's honestly just the work that guys have been putting in. It's it was hard to believe that we'd get to this spot where we're at right now. So I'm proud of everyone and everyone in that room. But I think we're really growing into that hard to play against team. I think just from other teams' perspectives against playing the Lincoln Stars, I feel like they get annoyed playing us because we kind of just put the puck in behind and really go to work. And I think we're really just emphasizing not turning the puck over and just being a little bit more efficient. And I think we've been getting really better at that.
Jimmy, you left right when the team was in the midst of the struggles. You came back, kind of were starting to hit their groove. What were the biggest changes you noticed from when you left to when you came back with this team?
I'd say we're just more relentless for 60 minutes. I think in the tough stretch, we'd have some good times like throughout games where we'd be dominated, but we couldn't really put it together for a full game. So I'd say that's the biggest difference. I'd say we're not really a team that's going to every night put 3 up in the first period, but we're going to be there in your face for 60 minutes. And that's what's gotten us some wins here.
Chatting Lincoln Stars hockey here on 93.7 The Ticket, joined by Stars defenseman Adam Kleber and Jimmy Jursev. I'm Joel Norman. And, Adam, the last 2 home games Ronke talked about, he didn't like the start of the team at home. It's understandable for every team at this point in the season to have a little bit of stagnancy with the season. Things kind of can feel stale. Okay, another Friday, another game. Another Saturday, another game. Tell me what you guys are focusing on to try to get off to better starts. Home, road, whatever it takes. What's something that has been talked about, and what's something has to change with this group?
I think just like better starts, maybe it sounds very simple, but maybe just like being a little bit more focused, like being a little bit more prepared in warmups and a little bit more dialed in. I know like this time of the year, February, some guys can like maybe their games can slip because it's cold. We've been playing a lot of games, so I think it's just making sure that you're mentally sharp and ready to go every game.
I always say to people, February and March, they're the dog days. We kind of get to that point where it's like, when do the playoffs start? How close are we to playoffs? Last year, I remember we clinched the spot early enough, I think, which was good. But I remember it was, hey, we're still fighting to get home ice. And I think that was a neat push for last year's group. This year, hardly need any urgency. We're holding the 6th spot right now. We've got work to do in that regard. But it's one of those things that I wonder about with you guys. It's like, it's got to feel repetitive until, hey, it's starting to warm up a little bit. Now the playoffs are getting a little bit closer. Let me ask you guys about this. We talked about getting off to good starts. What are your routines like on a game day? So it's a Friday night at the Icebox. We're starting off the weekend. You're arriving at the arena. What are things you both have to do over the course of that day to get ready for that evening's contest? I'll start with you, Jimmy.
I don't know. Usually we're racing home to get the stove first to make some eggs when we get home. Well, more so last year with Nelly, but just, I don't know, relax, get a good nap in, and then head to the rink and, just kind of, you have your same routine every day, I think, when you get to the rink. So
do you have like certain songs you prefer to listen to on game day? Do you have any certain snacks at the rink before a game?
Not really, no.
Nothing like that?
I try not to look into that too much, but like I tape my sticks, or I get changed first, tape my sticks right away. And then I'll hit the massage gun after video and stuff like that. Just same routine.
What about you, Adam? Anything in there that's quirky or you have to do every time?
I'm pretty similar to Jimmy. I like to stick handle before games with the golf ball. It's actually interesting you asked this question because a couple Mondays ago, 2 weeks ago, we went boxing and the warm up there was like we had to jump rope for 3 minutes 3 times. And I asked Jimmy if he had a jump rope and he did. So I started jump roping before games and I don't know, I like it better. So kind of like helps you, like what you're talking about, helps you start better, gets your muscles a little bit more activated. So I like doing that.
Certainly gets the heart rate up pretty quickly. And it's like it's a moderate, I would say, type of warm up. If you're doing it for a while, that certainly can help, but that's a good way to get it going. Yeah. Tell me about the boxing you guys did a couple weeks ago. That was on I think you're right. That was about a couple Mondays ago. Had to be kind of a fun change of pace. Adam, we haven't seen you in a USHL fight yet, so maybe a little prep for when that comes. Jimmy, you've had some pretty good ones. How was that to get a chance to do that?
Yeah, it's good to change things up. I think just get out of the normal, Monday, go to the ring type thing. Just kind of learn the foundations, couple jabs, couple punches. It was pretty simple, but I think the guys had a good day out of it. It was pretty fun.
Jimmy, what about you? Did you get a chance to participate in it?
No, I was still in the boot at the time, but we did the class last year too, but that was more, what would you say, MMA style?
Yeah.
And it was fun, but our feet were hurting the next day from kicking.
I bet you're not going to get a chance to do that in hockey, so that's a little different. Adam, we haven't seen you in a scrap yet. You've been in a few more tussles, I guess we can call them at times this year. Have you asked anyone? Because I think most people who know you, they know that that's not something you're looking to do unless you really need to, so to speak. Have you asked anyone? Has anyone asked you at some point?
I've not asked one, and no one's ever asked me. So,
is it so you even thought about? Because I know some guys will joke and they, oh yeah, I got to get in one at some point. If you finish this season without a fight, would you be just fine with that?
I mean, I would have to live with it, but I've thought about it, and like if someone comes after me, then like, all right, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, Jimmy, last year it was one of those things that I think kind of led to you becoming named captain this season. Was you didn't really come into the season wanting to fight, but when the right opportunities emerged or you saw an opening to do it to try and change some momentum, you tried to take those. Tell me about that, because I don't think a lot of guys say, hey, I want to go fight in this league.
Yeah.
They more look at it as, hey, how can I help this team with a fight?
Well, I think the first one we were losing like 5 or 6-1 to Tri-City, and at that time I was really like, fight. I mean, it was still a fight every day for your ice time, but I think I wasn't playing as much. So, just when you're in that kind of situation, you try to find something else in your game that you can kind of build off of, and it's just something like I did just to kind of stick up, for the team too, because we were losing pretty badly and they were getting kind of chirpy like the other Tri-City. So it's just one of those things you just kind of do, and you don't really think about it too much.
I have so much respect for guys who do choose to, because your hands just take an absolute beating. I mean, I see it. I was looking at Dashiell's a couple weeks ago when he had the Gordie Howe hat trick, of course, at Muskegon. I was looking at his hands after it. I was like, how bad does that hurt? I was like, you got the visor a few times. Those things are not, very friendly when you go with an uppercut.
I mean, get some ice in the penalty box right after. Usually they have some in there.
You had the fight, was it Omaha last year?
Yeah.
And you hurt your hand pretty bad after that one, didn't you? And that kept you out for, what was it, a month?
Yeah. It popped my thumb out. It got back to the box and my thumb was in a different, all the way up here in a different spot. I looked at it, I was like, that's not right.
That's not good. Did you even have any more shifts that night? I don't remember.
No, I got kicked out of the game for instigator.
I remember when you got into it. I was listening back later I was watching the fight again. I remember hearing the way as I was broadcasting it. It's like I said, Jimmy Jersib's in a fight. I said it like a question because I was like, oh, that's not who I had this early in the season fighting. But the right opportunity emerges. You certainly take that one. But as we mentioned, heading into this weekend, important games to try and win. Taking on Team USA, and I think we're at that point. We're pretty aware of the standings, where you guys are. You're in striking range of Sioux Falls. Of course, they made a trade today with Chicago getting another goaltender and Chris Manns. And then, of course, you guys are 5 points, I think it is now, ahead of Des Moines. Kind of have a little bit of breathing room, but I'm sure that's the moment where you look at it and you go, the moment we feel comfortable is a really bad sign. Adam, as you're heading into this, how much is this something you guys are talking about, whether with each other, with the coaching staff, or is it something it's pretty understood? Every game is really important right now.
It's understood. You can't get too comfortable. I feel like there has to be a little bit of fear that Des Moines is going to creep up on us, and we got to keep pushing and can't be lackadaisical or take any game off.
How are you guys approaching the stretch here coming up? Because we head into March, and we were just saying this a moment ago, 15 games in 31 days in the month of March. Technically 15 and 30 because there is no game on March 31st. So that's a lot of hockey. That's a pro feel, 3 consecutive weekends where there's 3 games in 3 days, not beginning this weekend, but the next weekend. What are you guys doing to keep your bodies ready, to keep rested, but also ready to go the next time you take the ice here, Adam? Not you, Jimmy.
Nothing really. Just eat, sleep, repeat. Just do the normal things. I mean, they got some new Normatec type things in the training room, so I've kind of been using those as the season's been going on, like the compression socks.
Mhm.
So I like wearing those now.
Tell me about that. Like, what kind of benefits do you feel from having them?
I mean, I don't know. After I used them Monday and then we skated, I had a little tough practice the next day and I felt good. So I think it just helps activate the blood flow and helps your muscles recover better. So I think just, knowing what your body needs and just taking care of eating right, doing those little things, the little things add up at this time of the year.
Absolutely. Well, guys, looking forward to this weekend. I know we hit the road tomorrow. Should be a really fun one taking on Team USA. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
That was Jimmy Jersib and Adam Cleaver joining me. This is Outside the Box on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? At Warhorse Sportsbook, their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino in Lincoln or Horseman's Park in Omaha, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. Hurry.
This deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and we have some really big savings for you right now. Our new crossover sale is underway. New Terrains, Equinoxes, and Trailblazers starting at $23,290. That's right, $23,290. Also, we've continued our huge Sierra and Silverado truck sale with over $10,000 off new pickups. You heard right, over $10,000 off list. Coppell truly has a small town feel with big city deals. We're right down 144th Street or at CoppellCars.com. Stock numbers G260980 and C119824.
If you want all the latest technologies from those big banks, but you also want that hometown feel when you walk in the front doors, choose Midwest Bank. They have top-notch technology. They make banking so easy, and they also have the friendliest staff who will take their time to get to know you and treat you like family. You get the best of both worlds when you choose Midwest Bank. I live on the go, and now I can bank on the go. With Midwest Bank, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I'm volleyball player Allie Batenhorst, and at Midwest Bank, you'll love banking here.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started. Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com. where they're committed to you every step of the way.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Against Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Against Sports at 48th and Vine.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, mainly sunny and breezy with mild temperatures. We'll see a high around 68. Tonight, mainly clear with less wind, the low around 33. And tomorrow, mainly sunny skies return. So does the warmth with calm winds. We'll see a high around 67. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clutcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back for more here on Outside the Box on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Joel Norman as we're chatting Lincoln Stars hockey as we get ready for this big weekend. It feels like the weekend's coming even quicker than usual because of the team. We're getting set to leave tomorrow morning. And as we mentioned, changing things up a little bit here on the show. Assistant coach Mike Zanella filling in, head coach Rocky Russo. I know he's busy on his prep here tonight. Mike, tuck the kids in, make sure they're all set. If I know Rocky, I'm sure he's listening in or will listen later, though. But happy to have you here with us, Mike. As we mentioned, getting on the road. And I know the guys, it's one of those things at first, I think they go, okay, long trip. But then they go, wait a sec. That's when we really bond. We love those opportunities. And I'm getting to that point too. It's the longer the trip, it's almost like the more ready for it. Sometimes you are. It's like, let's go, let's get settled in, and let's make this road venue, not really feel like road because we'll be there for a few days. Are you the same way? You kind of embrace these longer road trips now?
Yeah, I think it's fun to play at new places for sure. Get to new places, you get there a little bit early, you kind of get your feet under you, taking the sights and the sounds, and make yourself at home a little bit, like you said, for sure. It's fun to get on the road with the guys. The guys are really tight, so they always have a little bit too much fun on the bus. Luckily, we can separate the front from the back a little bit, so we don't have to hear them too much. But it's a good trip for sure.
For me, sometimes the tougher ones are almost the 3 to 4 hours where we don't quite stay. You get there, and it's like, okay, this is a long day. We're getting up there, we're playing, then we're coming home. It's a late night. It's like we said. I think I enjoy these where it's get in a couple days before or the day before, and let's settle in here. I would imagine that helps guys a lot with their routine.
Yeah, for sure. I think kind of a business trip, right? You get there early, get set up, and then on the way home, you just get home. You have to worry about racing home and getting to bed to get up and play the next day. So for sure, there's a level of professionalism when you get there early and can settle in instead of a long bus ride, 4 or 5 hours, just long enough to kind of take you out of it a little bit, but also not long enough that you need to go the night before. So that's a little bit more taxing, especially coming home.
We're going to learn a lot about what this team can do on the road here coming up. 8 of the next 9 games away from home. Stars overall, this includes the games in Pittsburgh, 7-11, 1-2 away from the icebox. However, you've been way better recently on the road. 7 of the last 11 have been victories away from home. Mike, is that something that you've seen in your 2 years here now in the league? It's hard to win on the road maybe early, and then you're kind of able to turn it on later because guys get more comfortable with, okay, I'm not sleeping in my bed this morning, or I'm not having to, I have to get to the rink a little bit earlier because it's not a home game anymore.
Yeah, I think it's just being a little bit more familiar with the league and travel and how things work, right? Especially for the younger guys. Second half to first half can be a completely different season for a lot of guys. I think we talked about that last time I was on. And with that comes maturity and all that. But ideally, I think it's just getting comfortable, finding themselves, finding their routine. It's a little bit easier at home early on, sleeping in your own billet bed, at least, and not your own bed. But yeah, second half, I think guys are starting to figure themselves out and what they need to be prepared to go. And sometimes then there's less distractions on the road, right? You're just there for a business trip and you're in and out, and you're not worried about autographs and the circus that comes with being at home sometimes, right? There's a lot
Jersey
going
auctions.
on. Yeah, auctions, and it's a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong, we're super fortunate. We've probably got some of the, if not the best fans in the league. But for a level of maturity for the guys, I think second half you see a different animal.
Harrison, we had gotten a text in on the text line a moment ago. I figured we'd have Mike answer that one.
Yep, absolutely. This one's from Joe B. And again, if anybody else wants to chime in, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685 or any of the streams, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. This one from Joe: in the USHL playoffs, does the bracket reseed after every round?
Mike, let us know about how that goes. I know some fans each year, whether you're a parent, whether you're a new fan, you may not be accustomed to the way the playoffs work here.
Yeah, Joel, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is no reseeding, right? You kind of hold your seeding all the way through.
So unless you're in that 1-2 spot with that first round bye, there's not a whole lot of advantage to how the seeding works, in my experience, at least.
Yeah, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5, first round, and then you go to the second round, and you go highest seed versus lowest seed remaining. At that point, last year we were the 3 seed. We faced 6 seed Des Moines last year in the first round, and in the second round we faced it was 2 seed Waterloo because they were the lower of the 2 seeds with a bye. Fargo got Tri-City, who advanced, and they were lower than us because they were 4th seed. So season ends today. We're playing the 3 seed right now on the road, but there's a lot of time to change that. And you look at how things have gone in recent weeks, Mike. It's not a foregone conclusion that I would say the 3, 4, 5, 6 seeds will all remain the same. 1 and 2 for right now seem kind of locked in. A lot of hockey lifts. Things can still change. Fargo's already clinched a playoff spot, so I think it's safe to say they'll be 1 or 2. But you look after Sioux City, and I think there's a lot of room for movement, and maybe even Sioux City after what we saw this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think of teams like Waterloo. Waterloo's been playing very well the second half. I mean, they've had a great season all in all, but they get hot at the right time, and they could climb up into that second seed. Sioux City's a very, very good team as well that we saw this weekend. So that 2-3 seed is definitely up for grabs between a couple of those teams. We don't ever count ourselves out, but at the end of the day, we're not worried about that. We're worried about what happens on the ice. And you look at a team like Des Moines last year. Des Moines, they got hot, and they at the right time at the end of the year. And granted, they kind of had to in the position they were in to get into playoffs. But that first series was one of the most challenging 2-3 game series that we've ever had that I've seen since being here. I mean, that team, they were a dangerous group. They got hot at the right time. And anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. Unfortunately, in this league, if you're not the 1-2 seed, it's a major uphill battle for you. But that's just the way things are, and that's okay too, right? That first series for us was huge. I think that first series played a big part in why we ended up beating Waterloo. I think we had our character tested really hard early on, and ultimately helped us moving forward.
That Waterloo series could have been 5, could have been 7. It would have gone the max, I think, no matter what. And that was, obviously the bias aside, that was such a fun series of hockey.
Yeah.
And in a way, I wish it could have been longer because I'm sure you guys were fine with 3 games because of how beat up both teams were by the end of that. But man, I mean, just for someone who was out watching that, that's an incredible hockey series. And you're right, the Des Moines one, game 1 was kind of surgical last year. You guys did what you had to do, showed up, business as usual, but you knew you were going to get a team playing for their life in game number 2, and they certainly did that. And a lot of teams are going to be playing that desperate hockey right now. We're seeing Sioux Falls has kind of been struggling a little bit recently. For a while, they were stuck into that 3 seed. They've hit a rough patch, and all of a sudden, they look vulnerable right now. Of course, made that big trade earlier today with Chicago, but it's kind of that time of year where everyone is, if you're not playing desperate hockey because, maybe you're struggling or you need to be playing better, you're playing with a sense of urgency. And forgetting this past Sunday in a lot of ways, that's what you guys have been able to do. I think it's easy for a fan, maybe Mike, to look at how Sunday's game went, 7-2 loss and go, okay, time to hit the panic button. Things aren't going the way we want. But to me, I kind of look at that as we hadn't really had a truly bad game probably since mid-December, December 10th against Fargo. They're going to happen. Like at some point, you're going to just have a day where you go, okay, there is nothing to take from tonight. Let's move on. Let's prep for the next game. You never want to lose a game like that, so forgive the questioning in that sense. But is it almost better that came right in the midst of a stretch where for 3-4 weeks, you guys arguably were playing your best hockey of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always good to get a slice of humble pie. You don't really want it to come at the mercy of a 5-goal deficit early on, or I guess it was 7 at one point, but whatever it is, and it takes a wake-up call for some guys and some teams. And I hate to see what happened to our goaltenders that day because our team didn't show up like we wanted them to. But again, it's a growing process, and we got to make sure we're growing every day. And we got to understand that if we're going to take a first period off against any team, it's going to be an uphill battle. And quite frankly, we did that on Friday night. We weren't very good the first period against Sioux City on Friday night, and Showstack bailed us out for the most part, and then we were able to bounce back and help him out. And then he was great at the end of the game again for us when we needed him. But at some point, you can't rely on your goaltending to hold it together until you're ready to wake up. So all in all, it was a good wake up call for our guys. I love this group, and I know we'll respond moving forward.
I think fans might be I think they're like me, where you look back at previous seasons for similarities, similar moments. For me, after Sunday's game, and you might agree with this, maybe not. I thought about that game with Waterloo in early March of last season. We played Sioux City the night before, pretty big crowd, great game, won the game, which was even better, obviously. But at that point in that season, I think our team was feeling pretty good, and everyone was circling that matchup with Waterloo because we knew. One, this is the team who beat us last year. You and I weren't there at the time, of course, but I knew a lot of guys were thinking about that, and a lot of fans were. And that was we might see them again in the playoffs if things line up the way they will. And of course, we did. That was a game where Waterloo kind of took control of that one. And I remember thinking at that time, and it ended up kind of being that way. It was kind of a turning point in the season because the next time Waterloo came, we split with them. We played much better hockey that time around. But that loss at the beginning of March last season, I remember really hurt. And it was that, wait a sec, what's going on here? Like, are we the team we think we are? Are they just in our heads right now? And they kind of had been at that point, but eventually, you slay the dragon eventually. To me, I thought about that this past Sunday. Dubuque's a great team. No discrediting them at all there. But for us, it was like, maybe that was, like you said, that slice of humble pie. Not really tasty, but sometimes having that helps you grow a little bit.
Yeah, very necessary. I think last year, all in all, that group, the way we matched up with Waterloo was just not really in our favor. For whatever reason, the way they play in the offensive zone and the way we were defending at the time, they had their way with us for a good chunk of that season. And then finally we were able to make some adjustments, and our guys were able to understand what it took to be successful against them. And credit to our guys, they made all the adjustments and they took over, especially in that playoff series. And you saw what they could do. But sometimes it's just as two different styles and how you match up. But again, I think for us on Sunday, it was more of a willing to compete and a willing to play 60 and be ready to go right off the bat. And obviously we know what happened. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys can do to bounce back. We'll talk more about bouncing back in just a moment, and more to come here with Coach Z, assistant coach Mike Zanella joining me. I'm Joel Norman. And after this break, we'll be back with more on Outside the Box on 93.7 The Ticket.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, mainly sunny and breezy with mild temperatures. We'll see a high around 68. Tonight, mainly clear with less wind, the low around 33. And tomorrow, mainly sunny skies return. So does the warmth with calm winds. We'll see a high around 67. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and we have some really big savings for you right now. Our new crossover sale is underway. New Terrains, Equinoxes, and Trailblazers starting at $23,290. That's right, $23,290. Also, we've continued our huge Sierra and Silverado truck sale with over $10,000 off new pickups. You heard right, over $10,000 off list. Coppell truly has a small town feel with big city deals. We're right down 144th Street or at CoppellCars.com. Stock numbers G260980 and C119824.
I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. The best way to strengthen our economy for the long term is investing in our education system and raising the skills of American workers. To succeed in the global economy, we need to modernize our schools, hire excellent teachers, and focus on the future. Support great public schools, and we can make the good life even better.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Let's just talk, because I like these projections. Left defensive end, Ty Robinson. Behind him, Chief Border. Nose tackle, Hush Monster, and then Van Poppel. Right defensive end, Jamari Butler, and then Cameron Linhart.
Yeah, you got to have them on the field at the same time. I mean, that's a train wreck right there. I mean, in the making. And both of them in the near future is going to demand double team, so you might as well get them ready for it now. And that's just the best thing for this team right now, to have both of those up-and-coming stars on the field at the same time.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment here on 93.7 The Ticket of Outside the Box as we're chatting Lincoln Stars hockey. I'm Joel Norman, joined by assistant coach Mike Zanella as we get set for the road trip coming up this weekend. Stars taking on the National Team Development Program. It'll be kind of fun, Mike, because we get to see the U18s on Friday, U17s on Saturday. And for those who aren't very familiar, it's one team in the standings, but they have two teams. It's confusing. I don't know if there's a great explanation for it other than that, but that is the case. In that sense, it's kind of neat that you get to prepare for two different opponents. On the downside, which we get to do on a lot of these road trips, you don't necessarily get to make the adjustments from the first night and take them into the second night because, again, same jersey both nights, two completely different groups, though.
Yeah, I mean, this is a weekend where you really don't want to focus on your opponent too much. Obviously, what you're getting into with talent-wise and what they bring to the table. But it's a weekend where you're definitely focused on yourself and making sure you stick to your identity and building on what we've been building or what we set up for ourselves here. And it couldn't come at a better time after this last weekend. We had a really good practice today. Long day that the guys were working really hard. So it was good foundation going into the weekend. We'll get a couple more in before to fine tune, but definitely a weekend where, you don't want to get caught up looking at the paper and it really your opponent too. This guy's a first rounder. This guy's going to be a second round, like this guy's a top five, like good for those guys. They're extremely talented. It's more exciting for me for a couple of guys on our team that maybe could have worn that jersey or were close to wearing that jersey. And I hope they have a chip on their shoulder going into the weekend and can show what they can do. And that maybe they belong there or that there was a good reason why they were very close to making that team. So I'm excited for them.
I know you just said it, but I don't think I'd be doing my job if I didn't ask it. You face, Cole Eiserman's one of the guys on Friday night who you go up against. 8th ranked skater on the North American skaters on NHL Central Scouting's midterm rankings. How do you stop a guy like that? Maybe a couple other guys. James Hagan's also someone who leads them in points and has had a really good start to the season.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've been coaching against Connolly now, Trevor Connolly, for 2 years. He's projected to be a first-round pick. Guys like John Mustard, he's been a fantastic 06 this year in this league, who's going to be a great draft pick, and I assume a very good pro career down the road. It's no different than playing against those guys, and you could go down the list with, Shahan and Sioux City, right? Guys that are dangerous with time and space. You got to take it away, right? You can't take penalties on them either, because both teams have great power plays. So you got to play a clean game where it's speed, possession. You don't want them to have the puck too long on their stick, and you got to respect their speed and talent when they do have the puck. So again, you can't get caught up too much in who your opponent is, and you just got to understand what they can do and how to kind of hopefully limit a little bit of that while sticking to who you are and showing what you can do.
Focusing more then on the Stars. 6 straight games of the power play goal before Sunday. Really good improvements. I know whenever I gave that to Rocky, he would say, yeah, that's a stat, but didn't look that good. Got lucky on that goal. That one probably shouldn't have been. I understand. Still, I felt like there were still improvements over the power play over those last 6 games prior to Sunday. What did you see that you feel like has helped it emerge? Again, the overall number doesn't look fantastic, 16.6%. But my point being that, you guys have been clicking over 30% for the better part of the last month.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's definitely been no secret that we had to work on it. The guys have been working hard on it, and more so working together on it, right? We had some good individual efforts before. It just was more of a cohesive thing, and understanding where your relief is and how we got to work for each other without the puck, not just with the puck. Sometimes you get on the power play and all of a sudden you think it's going to be easy. Well, it's not, right? It's 2024, and most teams are aggressive on the PK now, and which is good. You can expose it if you're doing the right things. But I think all in all, it's just more of them working together instead of as individuals. And you got to give the credit to the players. So
it's been impressive to watch. You see them, they're so much more decisive. I think to pinpoint it without going into the details, it's been so much more decisive. It felt like October, November, it was sitting, almost waiting, maybe trying to just hold and wait for guys to move, wait for plays to develop. Now it's guys are making things happen a lot more, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's, no one's going to do it for you. They got to understand where their attack points should be. And, when all else fails and maybe things are going stale, what we're looking to do and where we're looking to create in the ice. And then from there, just putting our foot on the gas and don't sit back, right? We're a man up here. Let's have some fun. Let's put them on their heels, make them defend, right? The pressure's on them, not us. At the very least, we got to come back to the bench with momentum. Our PK has been pretty solid for the most part, right? We've got some room to get better, and obviously this weekend or the Sunday at least was a little bit of a hiccup in the road for us. But the PK brings a lot of energy back to the bench, and sometimes that's all you need out of your power play. Granted, we've been lucky that we've been fortunate, I should say, that they've won some games for us in crucial times, and had some big goals as of late, but. Again, at the very least, we need them working hard and making sure they're bringing back the momentum, and they've made that adjustment. I'm proud of them for it, for sure.
I said right before the break, we talk about this team's ability to bounce back. Since Thanksgiving, you guys have only had one stretch where you lost consecutive games. Obviously, there was that really tough stretch in October, November, 09, 0-2 until the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. But since then, only once you guys have lost consecutive games. What do you attribute this group's ability to come back after losing a game and finding a new way to reset it? And what have you guys done as a coaching staff to regroup and put a loss behind you like you're going to have to do about this past Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I think going through a skid like we were, whatever it was, 09 and 1-1 or whatever, you learn real quickly that you got to put the last one behind you. But more importantly, you got to learn from it and understand that tomorrow's a new day, and we're fortunate that we get 62 of these things, but they go quick, and you don't want to take any of them for granted. So just the ability to learn from yesterday, wipe it, erase it, but to make sure we're getting better for the next day, and not carry that dead weight into the next day. And I think it all starts with just being positive and continue teaching. And, the guys have to have that mindset of, hey, I have to have a growth mindset here. I'm here to develop and get better and make sure we're doing that as a team and as individuals. So keeping that growth mindset and that positive culture and making sure it's an environment where people are actually improving and you're not just saying it, right? You're showing it, you're preaching it, and you're helping the guys develop. So.
And it's not even just more than just that. You guys can't get too comfortable. You do have the 5-point advantage on Des Moines in the standings, which feels like a lot compared to where we were 2 weeks ago heading into that series against Des Moines. But 5 points really isn't that much, is it?
No, it's nothing in this league, right? And I can't look up, I can't look down. Quite frankly, I don't really like looking at the standings or even really talking about it. What I do like talking about, Joel, is that you hit the 100 marker this weekend. Congratulations,
Well,
man.
you hit it before I did, so
Well,
congratulations
that doesn't
to
matter.
you.
No. How about you hitting the 100 marker? Why don't you tell people, Joel, how you got started in the hockey industry? Tell people a little bit about your journey to get here.
Well, my journey's not anything exciting compared to
It's
you
very
guys.
exciting. Let's hear it. Tell the people. I know it. I know it deep down, but how did you get to the Lincoln Stars, Joel? Where did it begin for you?
Grew up watching hockey, got lucky, got accepted for a job, and this opening came up, and here I am, thrilled to be here. You know, I never played. I played deck hockey, but I always tell people once I was 10, I realized I wasn't making it in any pro sport, so I decided I might as well try and broadcast. But no, I'm thrilled to be able to watch you guys on every night and talk to guys like you, Art and Rocky, these incredible hockey minds, and learn a lot because I'm just some schmuck who has a microphone and gets a chance to watch every game. I got the season ticket pass. That's about it. So it's a pleasure to work with you guys. And that's what makes this job so fun and has made this second year with the team so great. But yeah, you hit the 100 first. So congrats to you.
You're humble, Joel, but we're extremely fortunate to have you. And being up top, I got to ask, like, you've seen all these different levels now. How do you adjust to the speed and the level of play? And how has that been for you, the adjustment, and how have you been able to keep it going?
The speed was the toughest thing last year when I first got into the league because I did the NA3 2 seasons ago and a little bit slower. Guys, a little different level, obviously, compared to the USHL. But it's one of those things I think you just kind of get going. And if you goof up, you just put it behind you and you start the next sequence. You're not going to get every word perfect when you're watching hockey and trying to describe it. But a guy bobbles the puck and you're not quite sure what to say. You move to the next one. As the other guy picks it up. It's just that's what I love with hockey.
Too quick.
There's so many.
I get it.
There's so many broken plays in hockey, but guys still have to. You got to pick it up and you got to keep going. And you can't just stop and go, oh darn, that pass didn't go right. You can do it in practice, but you can't do that in a game. And it's the same way with me. Maybe I didn't like that call. All right, we're on to the next sequence. They're going the other direction now. So you can't feel bad for yourself when you screw up, right?
Yeah. Well, lucky for me, we don't have a mic on the bench where everybody hears every word or thought that I have because it wouldn't be very good. But for you, you're able to filter it so quick. I don't know how you do it.
I've talked with Rocky before. I want to have him mic'd up for a game. It wouldn't be live. We would edit it later. I think it'd be so fun to see the reaction. People would be like, hey, what's he talking about? The referee there, What I love is when you and him, you guys mirror each other a lot of times. It'll be hands out. Your hands might be a little bit further, or maybe he's a little more upset.
Oh boy, I got to behave myself here now. I better settle it in.
But it's funny. It seems like you guys, you kind of mirror each other. It's like, makes sense. You're on a staff. You work together, same things you're seeing on the ice. Well, Mike, we appreciate the time. Really looking forward to this weekend. Let's go get 4 points.
Let's do it, Joel. Can't wait for the bus ride with you.
Absolutely. That's Mike Zanell, assistant coach of the Lincoln Stars. I'm Joel Norman. As mentioned, Lincoln on the road. Games coming up this Friday and Saturday, both times at 6 Central Time. And make sure to tune into those ones. Check out everything on our social media pages and LincolnStars.com as well. Back next Tuesday at 6 on Outside the Box, again here on 93.7 The Ticket.